for January's issue of Resident of the Month. We're kicking this off. This is a new program. I'm here with Miss Shirley Jeffery.
I spent that first year in Japan at a mission high school teaching English to 600 high school boys, and that was quite a challenge. It was an exciting time for me because one of my best friends, a missionary wife, had been born in Korea, and she spoke the language very well. So she and I answered her husband's request to visit this group of girls in the prison not too far from our residence in the middle of Seoul. When we went in, these 20 girls were located in 2 rooms, and it was cold. It was the middle of winter. We could see their hands were red from chapping and bleeding. Some of them had no socks on. And even the little room they were in had one window at the end, and it was covered over with brown paper because the glass had been broken. We left and went home, and we had several boxes excuse me, of quilt blocks that we had received from the Methodist Women's Societies all over our areas. And we never really knew how we were going to use those, and here it was right in our lap. They knew what to do with them, so we left it there with them. And about a week later or 2 weeks later, when we went back, each room had a full quilt all over the floor, and they were warm for the first time in a long time, and very, very happy. So it was a blessing, and for me it was an introduction to the fact that these children had been in trouble, and they had been arrested or placed there for some reason, and yet they were just as human as we were, and we could relate to them just as friend to friend. And it opened the doors for me for my home ministry. She went in there and she got some clothes and piled them in the closet, and a piece of paper or something, and anyway she lit a match to that and closed the door, and then she walked out and casually walked across the room to near the door, which was a locked gate. And there was a matron who lived with the girls and stayed up there. So suddenly someone saw smoke coming out from under that door, and she screamed, and the kids got excited, and they all screamed and ran over toward the gate. And the matron was able to come out and get it unlocked, and they all ran downstairs and out to the door leading up to the area across the alley. The door was open, and they all ran up the hill where they could look back, and the fire had begun to enclose that whole 3rd floor. And all of a sudden they realized that everything they had, all the work they'd been doing, their personal letters, their pictures, the hand cream and shampoo had been given to them by the army wives at Christmas, everything was gone. And they were devastated. But the tragic thing that happened was this one girl, when everybody ran out, she ran down the alley and disappeared. And I am assuming they found her. I never knew. I didn't follow up on that, but she was gone. But the first thing they did after the fire was put out and the whole place was devastated on that floor was our leaders took them down inside again, down to the lower floor where we had a chapel, and they had a time of thanksgiving and worship, and thankfulness that they were all saved. I had a new camera, so I was taking pictures everywhere, and when we left, I took pictures and waved goodbye. We got to San Francisco, I believe it was, and I rented a car and went out to some friend's house. And when we turned in that car, I left that camera in the pocket of the car, and as soon as we realized it, we called back, but the car was already gone and inspected, and our camera with all of our final pictures was gone. But the memories are still there, and they're still special. And that farewell was very precious to us.
Well, we know your 30 years of service in Korea. You know, it has made an impact.
Yes.
I think not only in your lives, but in the lives of everyone that was affected. All of those youth that you mentored, Mr. Jeffery, all his work that was accomplished there. And we really didn't even have a chance to even scratch the surface of. But you know, it was an incredible pleasure to speak with you today, and thank you for your time.